Okay, so in the previous class we discussed about the different different advantages of export data pump utility. Now we'll be going ahead with an export data pump utility. Now you can see that or we can get the help of the export data pump by giving export dp help equal to y. This you should be doing after setting up your environment variable, because then only you will be able to invoke the export data pump utility. So export dp help equal to y. Let's see what all things it's resulting. Okay, so it gives a lot of output, but if you are looking, you can see that some important informations. Okay, here you can see that example of an export utility is export user ID and the password and the directory. Directory is the location, as I explained. When the data pump is generating the files, it creates under an Oracle directory. Oracle directory is nothing but it is an association with a physical path at the server side. So basically, what are things you have to do is that we have to have a user directory or an Oracle directory should be there, and then you must specify the directory path for the export data pump, and then the file of the file to which the dump file should be created, or you can say that the name of the dump file. But an important point to be noted is that in the case of export utility, if a dump file was already existing, it will overwrite, or it will prompt you that do you want it to overwrite or not, or if you are running in the command line prompt in the silent mode, it will not prompt, it will just overwrite. But in the case of the export data pump, the files are not overwritten. So if you are already having a file with the same name, then that your export job is going to fail. Is that clear? Then apart from that, the export data pump will be helping you. Say for example, this also works in the three different modes. Either you can run at the entire database level, or it can be run at the table level, or it can be done at the individual user level as well. So let's see certain certain parameters which will be helping us to do the export. So here you can see that attach. Okay, attach is an option where in which you can connect it to, or you can get attached to an existing or a running job. For example, you are already run the export data pump. Okay, then after some time you wanted to you are running that export data pump in the background. Okay, so you want to know like after some time how much the job got completed, how much it is still left out. So for that you can attach the data pump job and then find out the details. Okay, and then compression allows you to reduce the size of the dump file. So the compression will be taking some input values like all, data only, and metadata only none, which means if you are giving compression equal to all, then all the contents of the all the contents will get compressed. If you are giving metadata only the metadata components will get compressed. Data only means it will not compress the metadata, but it will compress only the actual data. Is that clear? Okay, any questions from anybody else? Okay, now the next component, next parameter is the content. So content means what are the things that you wanted to export. Do you wanted to export the metadata alone? Metadata means only the structure alone, or you wanted to have the data alone, or you want to have the both. So when you are selecting metadata only, it will be exporting only the metadata of the tables or objects involved. Data only means it will not be exporting the structure of the table, but it will be exporting the data. And by default it is all, which means it will be exporting both structure as well as the data. And then we have seen that directory and the directory objects, and then encryption and all we can yeah. So now the other important parameter is that estimate. For example, suppose your say your client is coming and asking you that I want to take the backup of my database. Can you tell how much time it's going to take to complete this job? So here you will be able to run an estimate. So when you're running the estimate, it is going to tell you that how much time this job is going to calculate. And then if you wanted to get say there are two parameters, estimate and estimate only. So estimate means along with the actual export, it will do the estimation as well. But if you're telling estimate only, it will not do the export, but it will just estimate and tell you that how much time this export job may take based on the present system condition. Say after the estimate you have the estimate only when you run the estimate only, it gave you the 3 hours of time. But while running the export job, there may be some other jobs running on the operating system. Say your operating system is went slow by the time. In that case, the export time may go beyond it. But estimate only is going to tell the estimated time based on the present condition. Is that clear? And then next parameter is quite important for us. What is exclude? Say for example, in the previous case of a previous case, say in our export job. Okay, so the say for example, in the case of the our classical export, suppose there are 5 schemas are there on your database. Okay, so you are given a task to take the 4 schemas, but you can leave, or the client don't want 1 schema. In that case, what we were supposed to do is that we have to give all the schemas, like say you will be going with the schema level or the user level expert, and you will be giving your user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, etc. But in the case of uh, datapump, it gives you an option to exclude. That will be handy when when the objects or the schemas to be exported is high and the exclusion is less. For example, in the case of export, say you wanted to export all the tables except 1 or 2 tables for a user. In that case, it would have a tedious job for you. Like you have to give the tables name individually and then omit what are the tables you don't want to export. But with the help of the exclude clause, you can exclude exactly the schema or the table that you want to exclude. Is that clear? Say for example, if you are looking at this example, exclude schema equal to HR. So in this particular case, we are excluding the schema called HR from our full database export. Is that clear? Okay. Now the next one is our file size. File size is going to tell you that how much the dump file you wanted to create. Say your entire database is of 100 GB, but you don't I mean you may not be able to copy the files more than 5 GB to your tape media. So you can say that dump file size is equal to 5 GB. So it is going to divide the total output files into that many number of smaller files based on that size. Okay, then yeah, any questions? No, it will be complete export. Say you are giving a full database export which is of 100 GB. Okay, you are specifying the file size equal to 5 GB. In that case, it is going to create multiple dump files of 5 GB each size. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Okay, then the next two parameters, flashback SCN and flashback time. Okay, it is just to for the time being, just understand that it is wanted to say, for example, if you wanted to take the database backup based on a particular SCN, this is not normally required for us to do the normal kind of environment, normal kind of situation. This parameter will not be useful for us. But due to certain reasons, say for example, assume that say your database is corrupted at a particular point of time. Okay, say for example a wrong updation happened to the database at 10 o'clock. Okay, so you wanted to take the backup of the data without the wrong data. You got me? Say for example, the 10 o'clock somebody has accidentally updated with the wrong value. So you wanted to take the export of the database just before the wrong updation. So in that case, you can use the flashback scene and flashback time. So it will be helping you to take the backup of the database based on that particular value. But there is one more clause is then to enable that you should have enabled a flashback database feature. So I have not covered the flashback database feature. Probably by next class I'll maybe covering the flashback database option. That comes mostly as a part of the recovery. So once you are coming back to the other parts of the recovery, I'll be taking the flashback. So the point here is that if you have enabled the flashback database feature, then you will be able to take the backup of the database or the export of the database based on a previous timestamp or timestamp in the past. So I'll be what I have to do that I'll be telling that flashback time equal to 10 p.m. So Oracle database is going to take the export backup based on the particular timestamp. Is that clear? Okay. Yeah. Now the next parameter is that full. As you are all aware that it is going to take the backup of the entire database. If you wanted to take the help of the data export, you can just give help equal to y and include. Say if you wanted to, it is just opposite to the exclude whatever we have seen. Include specific object type. For example, include table underscore data. So it is going to include only the table data. So it is not going to take the indexes or anything into the matter. And then job name. Job name is an important parameter which will help you to, or which is there are two things are there. Say when an export job is running, when export data pump is running, it is going to give a unique name for the export job. Okay, so for example, it is going to generate a unique name. But if you wanted to identify the exports based on a particular name, for example, say you are taking the backup of the database based on a specific client request. Okay, so you wanted to identify that job is running, who are the DBS and looking at the export jobs running, they should be able to identify very quickly. So for that, what you can do that you can give job underscore name equal to client specific request on this particular date. Okay, so obviously you are working on the shifts, right? Say I work from morning 8 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock. Then once the job my job is completed or my shift is completed, I am handing over that job to my next DBA. So for him it will be easier if if I am giving a meaningful name. Are you getting me? Say job any export data pump activity what you are running is a job. Okay, for that job you are giving a name. So if you are not giving, what happens that Oracle will give a unique name. But here, yeah, here you will be getting an option of giving your own name. Okay, now the next one is that like say log file. Log file specify the name of the log file. Say as you are aware, in the case of the export utility also we created the log file so that you can see the output later point of time. Here the log file equal to specific log file, then the all the export output contents will be returned to this log file. Okay, now another thing is that network underscore link. Network underscore link will help you to say for example you are on one database and then you wanted to take the backup of another database. So in that case it will help you to create something called a database link, and then you can take the backup of that remote database. So for example, I have a client machine, I have a development databases there, and I have a production databases there. So if I want to take the production database backup from the my development database, in that case, what I have to do is that I have to create a database link between the source and the target. I mean my development database and the production database, and then give the database link name here under the network underscore link parameter. So what happens is the job will be getting executed on the server, but the files will get created on my client machine. Okay, so it is a way of simulating the client side backup, but still it is going to utilize the CPU and the memory of the server side. Okay, now next one is a no log file. If you don't want to create a log file, you can specify it will not create a log file. The next one is one of the important parameter, that's parallel. I was telling that the export data pump or the import data pump, or you can classify, you can generally class them the data pump jobs. So data pump jobs can be run on parallel. So when I am specifying the parallel equal to 5, what happens is that it is going to create 5 worker process or 5 slave process, and then the work will be divided across this 5 worker process. Okay, so that way of when you are dividing, what happens is that you are dividing the entire job into different units, and it will help you to get completed fast. And then par file, as we have seen in the case of export job, it is a parameter file which contains all the information that is required for running the data pump job. Now the next one, query. Query will be helping you to add certain conditions to your export job. Say for example, you wanted to take the it will be helping you to export the subset of your database, subset of the database, or subset of a table. Say for example, you are planning to take the backup of your employees table, okay, but your requirement is that you wanted to take the backup of the or export data, you want to take the data of that table or the employee table whose department ID equal to 100. So what you want is that you are adding a query to your export job by giving the query equal to employees colon. So employees is the query is going to run on the employees table colon where department ID equal to 100. So it is going to filter only the records whose department ID equal to 100. So where which in this method you are getting a subset of the tables by using the export data. Is that clear? Yeah, yeah. This is the where in which you can use a customer SQL. Fine. Yeah. Okay. Now the next one is that the remap of the data. Okay. So here what happens that we are using a data conversion. For example, here say when you are remapping, or when as you are aware, remap is an option, is a like a mapping between the two tables. For example, suppose if you wanted to map the employee number of the MB table to the employee number of remap package table on the target. So you are having the source and the target is there. From the source you are exporting, but while you are importing, you wanted to remap to that target table to another column. Okay, so here what you are doing, that remap data emb.emb number equal to remap package.emb name. So what happens that the employee number of the employee table will be remapped to the employee number of the remap package table on the target. Is that clear? Okay, then reuse dump file. As the normally, as I explained, if the dump files are there, Oracle will not overwrite it. It's a security measure where in which you are not accidentally deleting any of the log files, or sorry, any of the dump files you are not accidentally deleting. But if you are sure that you are frequently going to use the same dump file name, say for example, certain times if you are loading the data from using a particular application, you are loading the data, or you using a shell script, you are loading the data. So that script may be expecting to have the same name every time. Okay, so in that case, what happens is that you can use the reuse dump file. So your export data pump will create always the same dump file name, and then it can be used for importing. Is that clear? Okay. Now the sample percentage of the data to be exported. Suppose if you have a huge database is there, or you have a huge table is there, but you wanted to just take a sample of that. So you can say that 10%. So it will be taking only 10% of the data on a random basis. Okay, now the next one is the schemas. It lists the schemas to be the list of the schemas to be exported. Okay, now the next one is at status. The important one is the status, where in which the frequency of frequency in which the number of seconds where in which the status will be updated to the log file. Say, if you remember in the case of the export job, we are used to give feedback equal to yes. So where in which the Oracle was giving a feedback whenever a certain amount of data is getting exported. Here you can see that whenever the data pump jobs are running, at what time you wanted to get the feedback. Say for example, I'm telling that status equal to 10. So what happens then? Every 10 seconds, the status will be updated to the log file, telling that this much is completed. Okay, now the next parameter is tables. It indicates that which are the tables that you wanted to export. For example, tables equals to hr.employees or sh.sales, etc. So here what happens is that it is going to export the tables, that is employees table from the HR schema and sales table from the SH schema. And now another important parameter that is available with the exported data pump is that you can export the objects belonging to a particular table space. Till now, with the export and whatever we discuss as of now with the export data pump is that there are three modes of exporting. One is at full database. Second is a user level or the schema level. Third one is a table level. But data pump is giving you an option level where in which you can export the objects belonging to a particular table space. Say for example, I want to export all the tables belong to the users table space. In that case, I can specify table space equal to users. So all the objects belong to different schemas will get exported as a part of this export job. Okay. Now the other two parameters will help you to get the say transportable table space option. As I explained earlier, transportable table space I'll tell you a bit later. It's too much. Unless I complete the Arman backup and recovery, then only transportable table space will be coming into picture. So transportable table space feature is supported both classical export as well as the data pump. We will be taking a separate session on that particular topic. Okay, now the other two parameters whenever you are running in the interactive mode. Okay, interactive mode as you are aware that it is taking the information from the user and proceeding. So uh, dump file, add file, continue client, etc. are the interactive mode. Say when you are running the export data pump, you can run that in an interactive mode. That options where in which it will be helping you to attach to running another running data pump job, or you can exit from there. You can resize it. All the things can be done. So that I will be showing with the help of an example. And here you can see that another important job is a kill job. Okay, kill job will be helping you to terminate an existing data pump job. A data pump job is running and it's taking quite a long time, and so you wanted to terminate it. In that case, kill job will be the option for you. Okay, now let's stop the theory and let's start a data pump job. So SQL plus show parameter Okay, here I am just telling you that user dump destination is a path where which all the user related activities will be creating for output will be creating. So here you can say that user dump destination equal to user1 app oracle direct RDMS prod user slash trace. Okay, let's leave this here and then let's run the export data pump slash sysdb Okay. Now, say from here you can see that when I just started the export data pump, it is started a schema level or a user level export. So which schema it is started exporting? The schemas of the sys user, because I connect to the database as a sys DBA. So here you can see that a job is started. There are certain informations you are able to see. It is starting a job, and you can see that the job name is sys export schema 0.1. I told you that is by whenever the export data pump job is starting, it is going to create a unique name. The unique name what I identify that sys underscore export schema 01, because it's a schema level. By default, it went for a schema level export, and then it is saying that it has been the job is successfully completed, and the files are being created on this path. Now, if you're looking, this path is automatically selected because that is the default path for the data pump jobs. Okay, so this particular dump file will be containing the objects of the export of the objects of the sys schema. Okay, now I just was showing a small example. Now we'll go ahead with a detailed explanation or the detailed step by steps of creating. So first we'll be creating a directory, and then we'll granting the privileges system. So just give me a second till I'm taking the examples. Yeah. So guys, let's see a quick example of this. I'll just explain, and then we'll do the practical. Okay. So first thing, I'm connecting as SSDBA. I'm connecting to the database SSDBA. The first thing I'm going to create is that I'm going to create a directory called test.dar. How do I create the directory? Create or replace directory test.dar as /tmp. So /tmp is the operating system location. So I am mapping that directory test.dar to /temp directory, and then grant read write on the directory test.dar to Vaishit, system. I'm going to as a super user, I'm granting the privilege on this directory, that is reading writing on the directory to the Vaishit user and the system user. But important point to be notice that the directory, when you are creating a directory, the physical path on which the directory is pointing should have the read writable access to the user who installed the or who is the RDBMS owner. For example, I'm creating a directory called say slash user1 slash test dir or test. So that physical path should be accessible in read write format by the binary owner. In our case, Oracle is the binary owner. So Oracle user should be having the read write privilege on this particular directory. I mean the operating system directory. And then at the database level, you are granting the privileges on this directory to certain database users. Is that concept clear? Hari, Sharada and all? Okay, first thing, the operating system level, the Oracle binary user should have the read-write privilege. Second, once you create the directory as a super user, you are granting the read-write privilege on the directory to the individual database user, because you are going to use that directory. So here I create a directory test.dar which is pointing to the /temp directory at the operating system level, and then I am granting the read-write privilege on this directory to the database user called Vaishit and system. And then I am running the export data pump as the normal Vaishit user. I am running export Vaishit / Oracle table equal to test. Table is nothing but tables is the nothing but the table belong to the Vaishit user, and directory is equal to test underscore dir. Dump file is equal to test.dmp, and log file is equal to expdb.log. Is that clear? So here I am running a table level export. Now let's see how you are going to run the full the schema level export. Schema level export expdb system / Oracle schema is equal to Vaishit, directory equal to test directory, dump file equal to Vaishit.dump, log file equal to exp Vaishit.log. And if you wanted to run the full database job the same way, I'll be running I'll be putting something similar to it. Full equal to y, dump file equal to full dot dump, log file equal to. Any questions here? Okay, so let's create the directories. Let's go step by step. I am going to create the directory. I connect to the database. Okay. The next one I said I am granting the privileges on directory to both Vaishit and the system user. Grant read write on directory testdir to Vaishit, comma system. Now I'll connect as Vaishit user. Okay. Describe all underscore directories. This is the all underscore directories list will list the directories on which the user has the privilege. So select star from all underscore directories. So the user has the privilege, or if you're looking, this user is having the privilege on the test underscore dir, which is pointed to /temp on the operating system. Clear? Now I'll list out which are the tables this particular user is having. So he is having the access to a table called test1 is there. So now I'll run the datapump job. expdb Vaishit /oracle table is equal to test1, directly to testdir, temp file is equal to test.temp, log file is equal to expdb.log. You can say that it completed the export of Vaishit, the test1 table under the Vaishit schema. And it says that the dump file is created on /temp/test.dmb. Is that clear? Okay, so it says that at what time the export job starts and also at what time the export job is completed. So it says that the export job is completed started at this particular time and it's get completed at this time. Fine. The same way you can run the schema level export as well. So let's run the schema. No, it has not taken the Vaishit. Say if you are observed, it is telling that the job name is sys export table 01, which is created under the Vaishit user. That's a default name it is taking. Yeah. So next we will be running a schema level export. Here we are taking the schema equal to Vaishit. Okay, here I am running the job as a system user because okay, run the password of system. Okay, what I'll do is I'll give /assist. Here you can see that it is running the export schema surround dot job. It's running. You can see this. So if you want, you can give the your job name. Otherwise, Oracle will be giving you unique name. Okay. For the full database, we will be just giving another parameter, that is parallel equal to 2. We'll run the 2 parallel job. Okay. So export schema level is job is also completed, and now we'll be running the full database level export with the 2 parallel process. Yeah, we'll be able to see it. I'll be showing that in the next class. I'll be showing how to see that details more. For this time, I just wanted to show you that 3 modes of export, and then we can. I'll just show you how to attach to a job. Let me open another terminal. expdp space attach equal to, I'm going to give the job name which is running. From the job is running on this. I'm just trying to connect to this job. Slash us sysdb. Okay, so here I connected to the job or attached to a running job. For that, I should be knowing what is the job name. And now it is, I'll be able to get something. Here now you can see that there are 2 worker processes there, worker process 1 and worker process 2. Can you see this? Okay, so now somebody is asking that, okay, what is the status of this job? I can just issue status. So now I can see that it is one worker job is taking backup of 6 objects, and other one is taking the backup of another 1 object. Like that I can see. And I wanted to take, say, estimate. No, this is a command. This command will not be running from the client side. So here, when I am attaching to a datapump job, what happens is I am connecting to the job as a client. So there are certain commands this client side I can run as an. I can just give help equal to y. I can see what are the commands I can run from the client side. Okay. Now, for example, I want to stop this job. Underscore job. Just job is stopped. Okay. Now I'll connect the job again. Slashes. You can see that you are getting an output that it is under the stopping status. Is that clear? But here we are not killing the job. We can again restart the job. So it is saying that status is added. Right? Now I wanted to start. Now I want to start. Yeah. Now I'll give the command start job. Now I can give the status. Now back to the executing. Got it? Okay, this will be helpful. For example, you are running, start running a job, and you are understanding that your dump file, the directory at which you are generating the dump file, is getting filled up. So it is obvious that if you are not doing something, your job may fail. So what you can do that you can just stop or halt the job for a point of time, resolve the space issues, and then restart the job. Okay. Yes, it is. It is where it's stopped. It's running there. I'm not terminating it. Good. Now, due to some reason, I want to terminate this job. In that case, I can just issue the command kill job. Kill job is a complete termination of the job. I issued a kill job, and then now you can see that there is no job running there. This says that job does not exist. Is that clear? Okay. Now an exercise for you guys. Say this requires a little more reading from your side, but it is a time that you should be start doing that. So my the task is that suppose your client is hello, are you able to hear? Okay, so my task for you guys is that say assume a situation where in which your client is coming back and telling you that you have to take a database backup. So they ask me how much time it may take. You have to first give an estimation of this job, and then while running, it is they're telling that every 30 minutes or every 10 minutes you should be getting an update that how much is pending, how much the job is pending. Did you get my question? So that is the task for you. Yeah, it's a full database, yes. Okay, so we'll wind up here and we'll catch up in the next class.